Tav Kuf Yud Beis Amud Beis, right at the top of the Amud, at the very first line. Continue on with the mitzvahs that Rabbi Akiva said. He told over the Rav Shimon ben Yochai, the different eitzahs. So the next one he said is mitzvah v'guf gadol. If one wants to do a mitzvah and also he wants to profit from it and get profit from it, what's an eitzah? Oichel peiros v'lo sachar. He should be able to do an arrangement where he can eat the pears, and then he will benefit from it and he'll get profit from it. So what's he referring to? He's referring to a case where a person wants to borrow money. So Reuben wants to borrow money. He approaches Shimon. It's a mitzvah for Shimon to lend him money. But if he does it in a way that he's doing the mitzvah, he can also profit. How is that? He lends him the money, he takes a mashkin. And the mashkin is what's called a type of mashkin, mashkanta d'sura, which says as follows, that, for instance, he says that he's lending the money for 10 years. He has a mashkin on it for 10 years. And during that period of time, then he can use the field, work the field, and eat the pears from the field. So, and therefore, he can eat the pears of the field. At any point in time, if the borrower repays, he repays the money that was lent on a proportional basis. So, for instance, if it's $1 million, it's $100,000 per year. And therefore, if after 5 years, for instance, he repays the loan, he only has to pay $500,000. If it's the entire 10 years, then he doesn't have to pay anything. The land goes back to him, and without any payment. So, that way, the borrower is paying off the loan, but the lender does the mitzvah of lending the money, but he also can work the land, and usually, in the normal course of events, the payers and the profit that he'll get from the use of the land for that period of time is worth more than the money that was lent. So he has the ability to do the mitzvah and also profit. Mitzvah v'guf tohar, if a person wants to do a mitzvah and have a guf tohar, he should marry a woman and have children with her and have the children. So he'll have children and he'll have a guf tohar. He'll have a guf tohar that it'll free him from machshavas rois and from snos, and he'll have children. Some say it's referring to marrying a woman generally speaking, to marry a woman and have children. And some say it's referring to a case if, even though he already has children from previous marriage, still he should marry a woman and it'll free him from machshavas rois. Rebbe, he commanded, he gave 4 mitzvahs to his sons. Number 1 is Al Tadar B'Chansiv Mishum D'Leitzon. He said, don't live in a town called Chnatziv, because the people over there are Leitzonim, and Umashkulchu B'Leitzonusa, and you'll get influence and they'll draw you to the Leitzonis. Next day it says, Val Teshev Al Mitas Aramis. Don't sit on the bed of a woman of Aramis, an Aramis woman. So the more explains. One say it doesn't mean it literally. It means don't go to sleep without saying Krishma. That's like the derech of an Aramis. So don't go to sleep without saying Krishma. Some say damri loitinsev giyorta. Some say what it means is that al taishav mita Aramis, don't marry giyoris. Don't marry giyoris, and as the Meforshim explain, is that don't marry giyaras because it's a big avera to hurt a giyaras, to insult a giyaras, and therefore it's hard to be careful and not to insult, and then it would be a terrible avera. So that's in general terms, of course, but we do find that there were those who Boaz married Ruth, they did, but it just meant it in general terms. V'ikadamin, some say aram is mamish. It means literally don't sleep on a bed of an Aramis, Mishum Ma'aser Rav Papa, because of the Ma'aser Rav Papa. The Ma'aser, the Gemara in Brachos says that Rav Papa was owed money by an Aramis. He lent money to Aramis. He came for payment. She didn't want to pay him, so she tried to plot against him. So she said to him to come to the house for repayment. And in the meantime, she killed her child, put it under the bed, and she told Rav Papa to sit on the bed. And her motive was then to say that, therefore, to accuse him and say that he killed the child. after he would sit on the bed, she would bring out the child and say, oh, that he killed the child. And therefore, she would avoid having to make the repayment, and also she would be able to take the koma against him. But the Papa did not sit on the bed. So therefore, don't sit on the bed of the Rabbis. Another eight is don't try to avoid paying the taxes. As the Meforshim say over here, what it means is not the taxes that one is legally obligated to pay, but it means even if there's taxes that are extortion, you should still not try to avoid it. Don't try to avoid the taxes because maybe if you do, they'll discover it, and then they'll take everything that you have. And don't stand in front of a bowl when it comes out from the marsh. Because it's a sakana, because the sultan is dancing between its horns, so it's a sakana. Amar Rabbi Shmuel, he qualifies it, he says that that's dafka b'shor shachar, when it's a black one, be Yomi de Nisan, and in the days of the month of Nisan. Tana Rav Aishia marchikin mishor tam chamishanam. Ashor tam, even though it's tam and it doesn't have a history of goring or shneising, but still keep away 50 amas. Mishor muad kamolayin. If it's a shor muad, if it has a history, as far as you can see. Even if the head of the shore is in the feeding basket, it's eating, so it seems to be that you're safe and secure, but still, go up to the roof and throw the ladder from under you. So run away, go to a safe place. So Rashi says doesn't mean literally because the shore doesn't climb up the ladder, but it means go to a safe place. The cry for a shore is hein hein, meaning when you want the shore to work or to chase it away, to pshatim means hein hein. That's what you should read, hein hein. Nisa the aryeh, by a line it's zeze, nisa the gamla da da, nisa the arba, the nisa the cry for the people who are in a boat, the sailors are rowing the boat, then it's nisa the arba, hilna haye hilna vehiluk hulya. That's the shout that you make that kind of shout, so it encourages the workers and it strengthens them to row the boat or to pull the boat. Amar Abaya, or dag v'kois chamin ubeim v'kinim levonim, all these things, the skin and the fish and kais, we'll see what that means, and hot water, eggs and white lice, kulim kashal l'davar acher, they're all harmful for tzaras. They bring about leprosy. Or what's the case of or? The skin is mandagone amashcha detzola, one who sleeps on the skins of a tanner that's not finished. It hasn't been completely tanned, so it's unfinished skins, unfinished leather. Dag, fish, what is it referring to? Shibuta, biyami de Nisan, to eat the shibuta fish in the days of Nisan, that also brings about the leprosy. Kais, what is that? Shira kasa de harsana, one who eats the leftovers of kasa de harsana. Kasa de harsana is this fish hash they made with fish with flour and oil. The leftovers of that kais is then also chamin, hot water, means chamin l'chamima mishadrole. It means of a person who puts hot water on himself, pours hot water on himself regularly. That also brings about the tzaras. Bein, eggs, manda madracha klipa. He walks on eggshells. Kinim levonim. What's the white lice is man de machaver lavusha. He washes his clothes. Washing the clothes that eliminates the lice, but but he doesn't wait 8 days and he puts it on again. So if he does that, borian hanach kinim, those kinim they grow again, they rejuvenate. The kashan l'davaracha, and they're harmful for davaracha, for leprosy. Amar Papa Besadis Beshun. A house that has a cat in it, you should not walk there without shoes. Because if there's a cat, and in those days it was common to have snakes in the house, and the cat would eat the snake, and the snake has tiny bones, and if the snake bone, the tiny bone, if it settles in his foot, loinafik v'stakeling, he won't be able to bring it out, and he'll be in sakana. So he should not go barefoot, because since there's a cat and it eats the snakes, and therefore there's common to have these tiny bones there, he might step on it, not realizing he might step on it, and he won't be able to remove it. Ikadam, some say, based on the less mashunra that doesn't have a cat, a person should not go into that when it's dark. My time because there's no cat, the cat won't eat the snakes, and there will be snakes there until maybe a snake will wrap itself around him, he won't realize, and it'll be a sakana. He instructed Rebbe with three things. So makish is siman, mem kuf shin is a siman. So one is, the first one is al tas mum ba'asvucha. Don't put a wound. Don't make a blemish on yourself. Meaning, don't cause yourself harm. Mahi, what's it referring to? Don't have a case. Don't have litigation with three people. Why is that? Because one will be opposed to you, one will be your opponent, and the other two will be witnesses. So they'll collaborate against you, and they'll win the case. Two will become witnesses, and one will be your baldin, and they'll win the case. Don't stand by the mekach, something that's for sale. Don't stand by the merchandise and give the appearance that you're going to buy it, and if you don't have money to buy it. If you do that, then you'll get a bad reputation, so it'll cause you harm. So don't do that, because people will realize that you look like you're buying and you really don't buy. Or it is another pshat is that because you're causing harm to the seller is being metapel with you, and he thinks you're really buying, and he puts in effort into it, and there's no potential, there's no possibility for you to buy it, so you're wasting his energy and his time. So, and another eitzah was Ishtachot Tavla, the night that he said that your wife goes to the mikveh, she's tayvel, al tizakik l'layla rishayna. Don't have relations with her, be with her the first night. Omarav uvenida daraisa, and we're talking in the case of a nida daraisa, hoil v'hochzok main basuach, because since the source of the blood is open, dilma mashcha ziva, maybe she'll become a ziva. So what it means is as follows. In earlier times, the din daraisa is the nisha that sees dam. At the time of her nida, she's made nida for 7 days, regardless if she sees once or all 7 days. Midaraisa, after the 7 days, then she's tayvel and she's tahoyer. Now later times afterwards, midrabanan, the din is that a nida still has to wait zayin nikiyim. She has to wait 7 completely clean days. Midaraisa she doesn't, only a zova does, a nida doesn't, but the midrabanan, even a nida does as well. So what we're talking about over here is that the din deraisa, before it was instituted that she has to wait zayin nikiyim, if there was a woman she saw dam on the 7th day, she has a mayin pasuach. She has the flow of blood. Now she'll go to the mikveh and he'll have relations with her that night. Maybe the mayin is pasuach, maybe she'll still see dam. Maybe she'll still see blood. Maybe she'll be a zova. So therefore, he said, for one night, refrain to ensure that there is not still a flow of blood. He commanded Rebbe with 3 things. Don't go alone at night. Don't go out alone at night. And don't stand unclothed in front of a lamp. And don't go into a new bathhouse. In the new bathhouses, had the floors. The floors were elevated. Underneath the floor, they had the fires burning to heat up the bathhouse. And sometimes those floors, which were not on the ground level, they were held up by columns. They were held up by posts. Sometimes they would give way and collapse and would be a sakana. So he said, wait, don't go into a new bathhouse until you're sure that it's secure and the floor has a solid foundation. It has the columns that are supporting them are solid. So don't go into the new one because it might give way. Ad kama. So to what? How long is it considered new? At what point could he go in? Amar Rav Shimon Levi Ashneim Asar Chodesh. After 12 months, after a year, then it's no longer considered new. And if it hasn't been any mishap, any accident within that time, you can rely that it's solid. Val Talmud B'fnei Haner Arum. Don't stand unclothed in front of a lamp. The Sanya Yomi B'fnei Haner Arum Have Nichva becomes an epileptic. V'ameshamish mitasol or Haner Have Labonim Nechim. And if he has relations, his masham shmitas in front of the ner, he has children who are epileptic. Ton Rabbanan hamasham shmitas al mita shetinak yoshen Allah. If he has relations, he's mashamish on a bed where a child is sleeping. Oisa tinak nechba, that child will become epileptic. But that's only if the child's not yet a year old. But if he's a year old, then it doesn't apply. That's only when the child is sleeping near the foot of the bed. But if he's at the head of the bed, that's only if he doesn't put his hand on the child. But if he puts his hand on the child, then it's not a concern. Don't go alone at night. Don't go alone at night. Not on Leil Revi, meaning Tuesday night, the night before the Wednesday, day of Wednesday, or on Leil Shabbos. Why is that? Because Agros Bas Machlas, he Ushmena Esrei Riboy Shal Malachi Chabola, her and 180,000 Malachi Chabolas, angels of destruction, Yaitzim, they go out. Each one of these Malachi Chabola can harm on their own. So the danger is very great. Originally, they used to go out every evening, so every evening was a sakana. But they came across Ben Machas, encountered Rav Chanina ben Daisa. Amrale, she said to him, "Ilav the Machas Amlach Berakia." If not, that they proclaimed, they made a hachroza in Shemayim, Izhar b'Chanina v'Seirosa. Be careful with Rav Chanina and his Torah not to harm him. Sakantech, I would have harmed you. Amar La, he said to her, well, you're indicating that I'm chashiv in the Shemayim. Well, if that's the case, if I'm chashiv in the Shemayim, I'm geyser on you that you should not come to a place, a populated area where people are there. Amra Le, she said to him, Purta, she said, she begged him, give me something, give me some leeway, some opportunity. You're ruining me. My Asa completely. So but so he left that opportunity, those evenings for her, so that those evenings are still sakana. But the other times, the rest of the time, it's not a sakana. So the more we'll continue on with this Maisa, we'll see in the next Amud.